Hi, and welcome to my channel. Would you date someone like your mom or your dad? It doesn't matter your gender, because our first experience of relationships are essentially with our mom and our dad, right? Depending who was at what capacity in our lives. Now, we date, marry, get into the relationships with people, but the question that I pose to you is, would you marry or date someone like your parents? Now, why is this so important? Why is this question so important? Well, because when we choose our partners, guess who chooses the partner for us? The part of us that has longings, desires, needs, and that part of us is our inner child. And so when we get into relationships, guess who chooses our partner? Our inner child. And if we are not okay with dating our parents, then we really need to take another look at the way that we find and choose the partners that we get into relationships with. This is a really good question to explore, because when you look back at your relationships, explore how they were similar and how they were different to your parents. So how available were your parents? Were your partners more like your mom or your dad? Maybe a combination of both, right? Now, this is really, really important if you want to change some of these patterns that you're experiencing. So maybe you're attracting a partner who's not available. How available were your parents? Were you closer to your mom or dad? And what was that relationship like? Was there competition with your siblings, or perhaps with one of the parents? Right? Were you too close with one of the parents and that made the other parent jealous? Or were you the younger sibling and the older sibling became jealous of you because you got more attention? So all of these questions are really important to ask, because when you are choosing your partner, especially a life partner, you really want to make sure that you're not stepping back in time and making the same choices based on your inner child. Relationships are a big deal. They affect all aspects of our lives. In fact, if you decide to get married and have children, the quality of that relationship is going to impact the health, the mental health, and oftentimes physical health as well of your children. If you choose to be with a partner who you later divorce, that affects your financial health. There's so many aspects of your life that depend on the type of partner that you choose. So to make this decision a wise decision, it's really important to make that choice from your adult self, not your child self. Important to acknowledge what the child wants and needs, right? The way we start doing this is by simply looking at our attractions and comparing them to the people that brought us up, right? Our most likely it's mom and dad. What is it that we did not get as children in those relationships? And what are those unmet needs and longings? So, for example, when you're making the decision of being with a new partner, ask yourselves, what promise does this person give me? Being with this person, what are they promising by stepping into this relationship with me? So, for example, this person might be promising me that they're finally going to see me, or they're going to care for me, love me, maybe support me in some way. They're going to be adventurous. They're going to value me. So all of these promises that we have in our fantasy, essentially, that we project onto our partner. And I bet that those fantasies or those promises are those unmet needs that we've had as children. And those unmet needs are being projected on someone who most likely has a lot of similarities to your parents. And your inner child is essentially trying to fix those unmet needs, those unfulfilled relationships with your parents by finding someone similar to them and figuring that, oh, well, this time is going to be different. This time I'm going to convince them that I'm worthy, or this time I'm going to make them stay with me and commit to me. And yet again, you find yourself with another unavailable partner, or someone that doesn't value you, or someone that has the same kind of anger, the same kind of distance that you experienced with your parents. So before you get into your next relationship, it's really important to break down all of those things. Really get to understand, like, what are those unmet needs I had with my parents? What kind of personality traits do I keep attracting in my relationships that are similar with my parents? And then ultimately ask yourself a question: do I trust my inner child's choice of partners? Because all the partners that you choose ultimately come from your attractions, that stem back to your inner child. And then to shift out of that, as I mentioned, you look at the promises. What is the promise this person gives me? And then bring that back to yourself, because ultimately you need to reparent your inner child. You need to get those unmet needs met by yourself, work through that process. So, for example, if you feel that you keep attracting unavailable men or women, in what way are you unavailable for yourself? If you feel like you are attracting overbearing partners who don't give you space, how are you not speaking up for yourself? How are you not asserting boundaries? So as you start to grow up in your relationships and then looking from the adult self, saying, what partner would be good for me? And the way I do it is quite simple, is that if a potential partner, I look at them, and once I get through all of the fantasy, all those potential promises that relationship is going to give me, then I ask myself a question: is this person the kind of person that I would want my child to be with? Right? If I had a son, would I want my son to date this woman or to marry this woman? It's so easy for us to get caught up in, oh, this is so exciting, this is so wonderful, I want to be with this person. But when you ask yourself, is this person my parent? Am I trying to fix something through this person that I really need to address with myself? And would I want my child to date this person? Would I bless this relationship for my child? So if you look at it from that perspective, if you address the relationship with those parameters, with those prerequisites, I believe that you'll start vetting out those partners that may not necessarily be the best choice for you, and those painful experiences you would have with them could be avoided, that you could simply address with yourself or with a therapist, and then actually choosing someone who's more stable, who's more reliable, who's more available, someone that your adult self would choose for yourself, and not trust such a big decision to a child within yourself. So thank you for your attention. I hope this helps. Please subscribe, leave a comment, and I'll see you in my next video.